Did you realize that this guy that we have on the
I looked him up the other day. I didn't realize he made a fancy sound when he entered the room.
dude
Now recording.
Andrew was saying that it's like the Terminator's coming to get his unborn child.
I can see that. I mean, he does have a little cute teddy bear look to him.
Yeah, I haven't found the roots yet on how this on how to work this. I haven't found a method to find a good recording software where we can finally just get rid of this Craig. So I'm trying to find it, but I don't know how to do that. So until I figure it out, then we'll yeah, who knows? We'll see where it goes. But
no, you want to know the honest truth? Anytime I have to record anything, like whenever I did my all the senior videos. I don't know if you watch those, Kevin, but whenever I had to edit those, I absolutely hated listening to my voice.
oh, I don't like listening to mine either. It's so monotone.
It's monotone and it's just so high pitch. It's like
you ain't wrong. Every time I go into work, my my boss, he's like, "Oh, hey, we're gonna listen to a call of yours," and I'm like, "Ooh, I kind of don't want to. My voice is pretty bad." He's like, "Oh well, too late. We're gonna listen to it now," and then you can just hear me saying like, "Oh hi, how can I help you today?" It's like so monotone and so boring. And then like if the customer is all trying to be like pretty chill with me, I'm like, "Oh, I'll kind of sound more casual in my calls and instead of being like a little bit professional." It kind of just depends on call flow, but no, I get what you mean, dude. My voice is so boring, it's so monotone, but hey, I mean it wows some people, so
you know why that is though? Why it always sounds A, more monotone, and two, like higher pitch. It has to do with like your skull or something like that. I read this off the internet somewhere, so that means it's 100% true. But it's like your skull, the vibrations of your vocal cord in your skull, like means that you're hearing the vibrations, not actually the sound coming out of your mouth, but you're hearing the vibrations in your head, and that's why it sounds lower because like the vibrations actually make it sound lower than it actually is. True fact, because I found it on the internet.
oh, anything that's on the internet, you got to take it for word. You take it at
100%.
face value.
Especially on Reddit.
Oh yeah,
good old Reddit. You can't go wrong with Reddit.
Reddit's always true. Facebook is the most true out of any of them. I mean,
you know what's funny is every time I want to get like at least some answers from like the internet, I don't know, like kind of like recently, I've been looking up a bunch of like workout routines because I have a kettlebell, right? And like I'll be typing it in the Google search, and I'm like, oh, how like 15-minute workout on upper body, and then it's just like those like the articles that just like appear left and right. And I'm like, I don't want to read this. I want to see what the other people got to say on Reddit. They're like, oh, you should do like this workout, or hey, go to this YouTube video because it works out. I'm like, all right, if Reddit is telling me this, then they might as well be, they got to be saying something that's right. And
no. I mean, Reddit's fine and everything, but if you really want to fact check something, don't go to a fact check website. Just go to Quora.
Quora.
Just go look up Quora or Yahoo Answers.
Oh gosh.
Those people have seen some stuff.
Well, speaking of Yahoo Answers, you want to know the answer to this? Wait, this is the Just Cause. Well, we're going off of the video game now. So anyways, welcome to the Just Smile podcast episode 1. This time I actually got a better microphone because the last one I have it was pretty bad. As a matter of fact, the headset that I use is a Logitech. So look how dirt cheap this thing is. For those of you that don't know, I got this $20 headset at Target because I was in need of a headset because my work they were supposed to provide headsets for me, and they didn't. And I actually forgot to get mine from the office. So I just found something that was like, I had to find something that was just very convenient, and it's worked. It's done me proud for a good solid 6 7 months. Never went back. But
Beautiful.
anyways, yes, the episode 1. So we're really kicking it off, and today we got Mr. iMatthew, and again we have Simp, also known as Andrew. Yeah, he's gonna be back. I don't know how long he's gonna be on the call, but he's here. He's just here. That's it. He's just here.
Yo, what's up, guys?
Mr. Simp. Then again, iMatthew02.
I'll be
Wait,
honest. If I knew that we were going to be all professional, I would have gotten a better camera before doing this.
I mean, either way, they're only going to be hearing our voices anyways.
Yeah, but looking at myself, I just look trash compared to you two.
Oh, dude, I look trash too. I didn't even do my hair today.
Oh, when was the last time you actually did your hair, though? Like, with the pandemic and everything, when was the last time any of you guys did your hair?
I got a haircut. Look at this. Nice fade.
A nice fade.
Mm-hmm.
When was the last
Fresh
time?
cut.
When did I do mine?
Ooh.
I think it was Saturday. Was
Saturday?
it last Saturday? Yeah, because so fun fact, right? I was me and my brother, we were supposed to go to Walmart so that we can get a whole bunch of food for Easter. And I just decided that I wanted to do my hair because already it's long enough as is. So I was trying to style it and all that fun stuff. And eventually, throughout like the afternoon, one of my coworkers is like, "Oh, hey, you should stop by the Casa Vieja in Corrales because we're having a fundraiser there every Saturday of this month of April." I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll go there." And I guess it turned out he was dancing in front of a crowd and outside on a patio. And I was like, "Hey, you know what? That's pretty cool." But long story short, right? I kind of had to get my hair. My hair had to be accommodated for the event. So I was like, "Oh, all right, I'm just gonna do my hair. Why not?"
You talk like you went out for some sort of party or something, where there was like a club dancer that you went to go see.
No, it's like this. It's like the Mexican baila, right?
Ah,
So you have the dudes in the in the suit, right? The mariachi hat, all that.
do that one again?
I'm not gonna. You heard it once. You're not gonna hear it again. I can't roll my R's, but it's the illusion that I'm rolling my R's.
I don't know. It sounded pretty convincing to me.
I try my
100%.
best. I try my best with the rolling of the R's. Yeah, see, I can't do it now. I'm all embarrassed. I'm shy.
Well, I'm not gonna do it. In case you're wondering.
You
Do
don't
it,
have to
Matthew. Do it for the freaking podcast.
do it for the Vine.
Do it for the Vine.
Do it.
Oh,
Remember
Does
when
anyone say-
Vine was the thing?
does anyone say do it for the TikTok?
Doesn't
No.
sound right.
I don't think so.
It
No.
doesn't sound right anymore. It's like, no, do it for the Vine sounds better. Man, remember when like life was so easy back then, like 2013, when it's like during like the middle school era when it was at least for us though. We were in middle school when Vine was a thing.
Well, that's the thing, though. Did either of you actually have Vine?
I did. 100% loved it.
You guys had Vine?
I
I
did.
didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez, what was that like, Andrew?
Vine was just a different environment. There's tons of edgy jokes that would not be accepted today. They'd be making dad jokes, racist jokes. And I'm sure in today's society, people would not be okay with that shit. So it was honestly really chill. I loved that platform until it got shut down.
Well, it got taken over by Musically afterwards, and then after Musically it was TikTok.
It's technically the same company. or the same name that's been progressed on.
Except now you can. Well, I wonder how many people actually like made a living off of Vine, and not many people from Vine like migrated over to Musically, and then from people from Musically like migrated over to TikTok, but they're probably not as popular as they used to be back then.
I've watched a few like old Vine compilations, and it's always the popular people or the real like obscure stuff that people get references to. So like big names like Thomas Sanders. What's the dude with the watermelon?
I don't
Shoot.
even know the dude.
It's like you could see the names, but you would never remember their name. See the names, see their faces, never remember their names. It's and then you look at TikTok. I feel like I don't know. I feel like it's completely different, but it's also completely the same thing. It's like, you have like I never was around whenever Vine was real. I didn't have Vine when it was real popular, and so I don't know what the trends or whatnot, if that was even a thing on there. But like
Well,
TikTok's very based on trends.
Yep.
I wasn't a fan of Vine. But you know what was like the second closest thing to Vine was Flappy Bird. Does that anybody
Flappy
remember
Bird.
Flappy Bird? Oh, dude.
I do. I love that shit.
Dude,
Did you know that back then, right? Because I don't know what happened, but apparently like Flappy Bird was going off the market on Android and the Apple Store.
yeah.
And people were like, "Oh, hey, if you download Flappy Bird, then you can actually re-download it at a later date. So then, like that means like whenever it's off the store, you still have a copy of the game." So people, what they would do, or like these people, they would buy like iPods and then put the game on the iPods or iPads or whatever, and then they would sell it on eBay for like maybe like $100-$500 because Flappy Bird was on there. They're like, "Hey, you want to play the original Flappy Bird? Hey, well, buy my iPod for $500, and then you can play Flappy Bird all you want." And people made money off of that too. No lies. People made money off of Flappy Bird, like $500.
I remember that. I remember reading something about that.
I thought they got copyright for the pipes because they look like the ones from Mario.
Was
That's what I
that
thought.
the reason why?
Yeah, I think you're right about that.
Well, even if you go to like the Dave and Buster's, right? They're not attacking the Flappy Bird thing that you see in the arcade games.
It's because at this point, there's too many people who have come out with a new Flappy Bird version. There's no way they're ever going to take down all of those people.
Well, the arcade companies are making money off of like a ripped off Flappy Bird version, but they still have the tubes that look like the ones in the Super Mario games. So why they could be suing those guys, but oh no, you got to take Flappy Bird off the App Store, which by the way you can't get it anymore on the App Store. Even if you had downloaded the game originally, you can't get it no more. I don't know why. I've even tried to re-download it, and you just can't. It's not
I think
there
it's how
anymore.
they changed iOS, and then they changed how like iTunes and the App Store works.
That's the sad part. Well, I was an iPhone guy for a long time. Ever since like sixth grade. Sixth grade, I've had iPhones. Well, not all the iPhones because I wasn't that cool. But I remember when the iPhone was it the iPhone S? It was the one that finally had the touch sensors on there. Like you were the coolest kid in town if you had those iPhones. You're like, oh, you have that iPhone 5C, the one with the home button still that you have to click on. What is that? But get out of here. He's like, do you have the phone with the home button that has the sensor on there with your fingerprint? And oh, you don't? Get out of here. I don't speak poor like that.
No, I'll be honest. I really don't know what you're talking about because I had the same cracked screen iPod like 4th gen for probably a good like 6 years. And let me tell you, that battery lasted a long time. Even after I broke the screen, I still had Angry Birds, Plants vs Zombies. I think I even had Flappy Bird on it for quite some time.
Nice.
I could
Yeah.
still sell it.
Mhm.
Yeah, reach out
If
to
you-
me if you want my my old iPod 5th gen.
I only got $3. Take it or leave it. That's how much I'm gonna. That's it. I don't got $500 to spare, dude.
Mhm. Do you
Put
guys
on
remember
eBay.
Temple Run?
Ooh,
Dude.
That was my shit right there. That was mine. Love that game.
What was your
Temple.
high score?
What do you mean? What's your high score? Yeah, let me just
Come on,
research them.
everybody that has ever played Temple Run at least knows their high score.
Do you know your high score?
I do.
What was your high score?
0.
I don't know, because I remember playing
0.
for 5 minutes straight.
Jeez.
Did you play for 5 minutes and then you're like, I'm done, bro?
Yeah, because I was like, really intense into the game, and then like what's called that battery percentage like notification came on, and it screwed me over because I missed the jump.
Oh,
What was the Subway game that took over after Temple Run? Kind of died
Subway
from
Surfers.
popularity. There you
Subway
go. I think I played that like once. Because I don't know, one day we just decided, let's go to this instead of Temple Run. It's the exact same game, but I did that one. I also did the Minion Run.
Minion Run was pretty fun. I played that with my little cousins.
I wonder if that
dude.
stuff still exists. Like, can I still download it?
Here's actually my original iPod. I actually broke the
Ooh.
screen because of not safe for work story. Unless you guys want to hear it.
You sure?
I don't
Dude,
know.
yeah. I mean, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay,
Yeah.
so 8th grade year, like I was trying to discover myself, and I discovered about let's just say beating the shenanigans, in which basically I was watching it on this, and I remember I was trying to hold it in. I was in a session, and it was getting towards the end of the final chapter of it, and I was trying to hold it in so hard that I cracked my phone because I gripped it so hard, because you can see where the grip where it's right here. I gripped that shit and it broke the screen.
Dude, you
I'm
wanna
sorry.
talk about
I
cracked screens real quick?
I
I
don't know.
actually have a pretty funny story.
Kevin, are you really just gonna gloss over that?
Yeah. But no,
Maybe.
no, because since Andrew's talking about a cracked screen, right? I'll tell you something that's pretty cool, right? So I had the iPhone 5C, right? I had this phone, I think, since like maybe 7th grade. I don't remember when those phones got released, right? I had broken the screen because I dropped it. I don't remember where I dropped it, but I remember it was on concrete, so the screen broke. But everything else was just fine. My mom was like, "Oh, okay, let's go fix your screen. Like we have the funds to do it." And we took it over to the mall and we got one of the guys to fix it. So that was already set and done. 2 days later, I go to soccer practice, which which already right there, I already had the phone in the bag. So I was like, all right, I'm not gonna need my phone anyways. I'm not gonna carry it in my pockets, right? And then it turned out like after practice, I was pulling out my phone to see like what notifications I got. Like I don't know if somebody texted me or my mom or dad called to say, hey, it's time to pick you up. I pull my phone out and my screen's cracked, but it was in the worst condition you can possibly think of. Like there was like the imprint of like a cleat, and then all the way down on the screen. And I was like, oh no! It's like my mom literally just paid $100 to fix the screen. I can't let her see my phone, and I think it went like for a good solid 4 weeks. That I didn't show my mom, and eventually like she caught me because we were at like the diner table, the dining room, and we were getting ready to eat, and I had to see some like notification or something, and my mom's like, let me see your phone. I'm like, no, like kind of just like that kid who's like, no, no, I don't want you to see my phone, and it's like, give me the phone. And so she kind of like she yanks it, and the first thing she notices is the cracked screen. She's like, are you kidding me? She's like, are you serious? I literally just paid $100, but imagine hearing that in Spanish. And imagine just in outrage. You know, pinche pendejo,
But
¿qué estás haciendo? ¿Qué haces con la pinche celular? You know?
did the chancla come out?
Oh no, it wasn't the chocolate, dude. It was a cinto. It was the belt.
Ouch.
Have you guys ever gotten like just like punished before? But maybe with like a wooden stick or like the belt or something. Like, have you ever?
Are you
Mhm.
talking about beat by my parents?
Yeah, like have you ever gotten beat up by your parents before for something so stupid?
I have never gotten beat up by my parents.
You never did. Your parents didn't like teach you a lesson. They're like,
No.
all right, we're gonna teach you a lesson. Go get the belt for me in the closet.
Nope.
Andrew?
Yes, I remember one time I didn't defrost the chicken, and my mom got really mad because we were gonna have guests over that night too. So I didn't defrost the chicken time. My mom got the hanger and just whacked me with it on my back, and it hurt.
Ooh,
What the? Am I the exception here?
Yeah, there's some people that don't like some parents they don't believe in like hitting their kids. Some don't actually. Like some people would be like, "Oh, let's sit down, let's have a talk, and just make sure you don't do it again."
It's
Nah,
tough
dude,
love.
but no, dude, me was like, if I did something stupid, my mom was like, "Go fetch me the belt." And the moment she said that, I'm like, "No." And she's like, "Fetch me the belt." And sometimes she'll be like, "Oh, hey, Kevin, go to the room real quick," and she'd be standing at the door, and like you already knew what was coming, so I'm already crawled up in a ball, and I'm like, "No, don't pull me." And she would grab a buttload of like my hair and yank me right into the room, close the door, and boom. It's
What
just
the
like
heck?
I'm not kidding. This literally happened when I was a kid.
I. What the heck? I have never gotten like any physical like getting taught a lesson from my parents.
Oh, dude, we learned the hard way.
Mhm. Yep.
Jeez.
I remember my mom was gonna get the belt with me, so I prepared myself. So I wore like 3 pairs of underwear, hoping that would like break the belt whip. It didn't hurt. It still hurt. It stinks.
Dude, one of my
No
friends.
wonder everyone has childhood trauma.
Yeah, yeah, dude. And anytime I hear the words like belt or something, it's like my winter soldier. It's a trigger word, man.
Mhm. A fly swatter I've been
Jeez.
hit with too. A fly swatter.
Have you ever gotten hit with a wooden spoon before?
No, but I've gotten hit
Ooh.
with a what's it called a metal spatula. I've
Oh
got
no.
a ketchup bottle thrown at me one time too because I was talking back to my mom.
Y'all think this is okay?
Yeah.
No, but you built a tolerance after a while. Like
No,
you
no,
get
no. Would you do this to your kids?
Yes. I was grown up that way, and look how good I turned out.
I would beg to differ.
So you're against punishing your kids if they like did something like really bad.
I mean, it's it's
Physical punishment? Yeah, I'm against it.
but some people take that to like the extreme though. Like, I mean, look, there's some people here in Albuquerque that just, for like they'll put their kids in cages and
Mhm.
they'll like beat their child up to like the point where they're just like brittle and scared.
Mhm.
There's a line you don't cross. I mean, if your kid's like doing something that he's not supposed to, like he keeps like I don't know, he keeps moving the furniture, he keeps breaking a whole bunch of like vases or something like that. Or I don't know, I can't really think of something that is pretty bad. Or like I don't know, they punch the wall or you know
Mhm.
create a whole bunch of mess. It's like, okay, I'm gonna give you a spanking. Like,
Mhm.
I'm not gonna be to the point where it's like, wow, 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 to the point
Yeah.
where it's all
Just like
bruised.
once. That's it.
Yeah, it's not
Well,
like
here's my question though. What lesson does this teach your kids?
never do
That
it again.
if you screw up in life, then you'd like deserve to be like beat up?
Just don't do it again. Otherwise, you're
Yeah,
gonna know
no,
what.
Yeah.
no, no. No. Not doing it again is not the same thing as being beat up about it. Like, if you okay, let's take this example. If you screw up in a job, what is the proper like repercussion for that?
Sometimes it's for you know you so you for, no I, so if you're in the workplace, well, I actually know firsthand actually.
Yeah, no, that's why I ask.
No, so I mean, in most cases in the workspace, right? If you do something that you're not supposed to, first off, it's like, all right, I'm gonna give you a warning, and then that's your one warning. That should already be enough. And then you do it again, it's like, all right, I'm gonna write you up. Third time, usually it'll consist of like, okay, you're really doing something you're not supposed to. You're just really screwing up. We're gonna put you on a final, and if you screw this up, you're done. And then usually by the fourth time, if you get caught again or you're doing something stupid, then you're out. Sometimes it's like four warnings, but you get percussions for each warning you get. It's I don't know. It's like DWI is like first offense. Oh, you get your license revoked, or you get it suspended. You get like 30 days in jail. Oh, and then the second time you do it, I mean, the list goes on.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Here's the big difference that I have with that. Yes, I get that. But if you screw up in work, you are a full adult at that point. Like, you're a legal adult that like has been brought about in the world.
Mhm.
But if you're a child, you're like 6 years old and you're getting beat up for it.
Yeah, because what's it called? I know I like deserve some spankings whenever like my mom would like like do it to me because I would like talk back to my mom. I would refuse to do things and like not being told what to do. Like I wouldn't listen, so that then she would like hit me like like spank me. Like she wouldn't like physically like beat me like to like bleeding or bruise. She was like hit me
Right,
like once a
exactly.
couple times, and that's about it. And then I learned my lesson and never to do it again.
Yeah, you kind of, and if you keep doing it again, well, I mean, since you're a kid, right, you're just kind of like, you're like, oh, I probably don't want to ever do that again because then I'm just going to provoke my mom, and then number two, I'm going to get grounded. I mean, there's like repercussions that come with that.
Don't you
Exactly.
think there's
That's why
a
you
better
try
way
to
to?
avoid it. That's why you
Don't you
try to
think?
avoid it.
Yeah, but aren't there better ways to teach your kids that sort of thing?
Well, dude,
No,
my family's Hispanic. Well, my family's Mexican, dude. We don't
mine
roll
too.
like that.
Mine too. Mine's Hispanic as well.
There's
Okay,
a whole cultural
here's
difference.
no, but here's the thing: is that my mom's Hispanic. My mom's parents are Hispanic, and she never got beat as a kid for that sort of stuff.
I know I'll agree to that because my mom, I even told her whenever she was like a kid, I said, hey mom, like have you ever like in your like as a kid, as a teenager, like have you ever gotten like like my grandma ever like hit you for like whenever you did something wrong? And she only told me that she did that, like she got slapped in the face once by my grandma, but that was because she was talking back to her and boom, like she got
Mhm.
like she had like a mark on her face, and then afterwards, like she never got hit ever after that because they were always like close. But
Mhm.
she used to tell me whenever like with her brothers and sisters, yeah, no, it was different. It was a different story, dude. Yeah, they psycho mode is what happened in the family. But even ever since my mom never got like I guess like hit ever. I guess beat up is I guess it's not a proper term to use, but get hit and get
Mhm.
learned your lesson that way. You know, like
Yeah,
I guess my
discipline.
mom never had that, but for some reason, I guess she was like, all right, I'm gonna teach you boys some manners. So go get the belt and wait for me in the room. And I'm like, okay. Like I don't know. I guess it differs between person. I don't know. I
Mhm.
really don't know.
Yeah, and looking
I'm
back at it,
sorry.
I thank my mom because she would like make me like have fear her and like respect her, and that's something like I always like want to be like I want to be that son that respects my mom, and which now here I am now. I respect my mom. Like I don't do anything bad. Yeah, but now she just takes my stuff away, which kind of sucks. But when I was younger, she would take it away, and I'd be like, I'll just get it back. And like that, I would just keep on doing it because I knew the consequences were she's just going to take away my Xbox or my phone, my iPod away for like a week, and then I get it back. Like
Well,
there's no learning.
since Matthew never got what is it? He never got hit for anything. What was then answer me this. What was the worst thing? I guess that comes close to being like worst punishment from your parents. Like like did you get grounded for like a whole semester or something? Like away from your phone or What was the worst thing that you can think of, Matthew, where your parents were just like, "All right, we're gonna teach you some manners and discipline. So we're gonna take away something from you that you love the most."
You know, I get that it's kind of hard for me to speak on this because we'll give the background that I was homeschooled. So like me coming home from school and like I, I had to get along with my parents all day long because that's where I was all day long. So it's not like, you know, I go to school when I badmouth my parents or something like that. No, that was part of school is called getting along with my mom as she's teaching me. And I'm not saying that I didn't like yell at my mom during school and stuff like that. I've had plenty of arguments, but one of the big differences I think for me is my parents really tried to enforce attitude of communication rather than just like, you know, because honestly, if I'm being honest with you guys, what I hear is like a respect out of fear, and that's something that my parents never
Oh,
tried to instill in me. My parents didn't want that sort of environment. They didn't want something where I felt like I couldn't talk to them about something, or that me talking back was necessarily disrespectful. Like for me, I don't think talking back to someone is considered disrespectful. Being rude to someone is being rude to someone, and that's not an okay thing to do. But I never really got punished because my parents always had an attitude in where they wanted me to be a good person, not out of fear of like being disrespectful, but for the sole sake of being a good individual. And so the punishment that I got from my parents wasn't ever like punishment. Like I never got grounded. I never really got like, I didn't have a game system in my room, so it's not like I had something that like they took away from me. Like every time I wanted to play on the PlayStation, I had to ask for permission before I could do it. And so like it was like a no, you can't. But it wasn't like you don't get to play on the PlayStation for the next month, or you don't get your phone for the next month. I didn't have a phone until sophomore year of high school, and by that point, is that I didn't really have the sort of same like stuff from my parents. I didn't get punished from my parents because there was always a level of communication where it's like I didn't really do stuff that like it's like I didn't hide stuff from my parents or stuff like that. So I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to speak on that because a lot of the way that like early on my parents enforced in me, I guess maybe prevented me from punishment. Like my parents, they never went out of their way to have like punishment be a thing. I don't know. It's
family's too
kind of
nice.
Yeah. There's no like
Yeah,
tough love with that.
yeah,
but like, what is tough love? Are you saying tough love is like, oh, I'm showing you my affection by toughing you up for the real world? The reason why the real world is tough is because so many people believe that tough love is a thing. Like, make the world a nicer place so that you don't have to have this sort of tough outer shell. You know, it's like we're all guys here. I mean, do you feel like you have an outlet to talk about emotions and stuff like that?
the
Of course.
boys.
Yeah.
Oh, but with who?
My grandma, my mom, my sister, anyone, my friends.
All right. I don't know. I guess I just take a different whole approach to like what that means, this idea of tough love and like, you know,
Hmm.
what punishment is from your parents and what respecting your parents is. I I believe me, I think that you need to respect your parents, but I don't think you need to do it out of fear. I think you need to do it out of like some kind of admiration and, you know, care for your parents rather than like any sort of fear or obligation. I don't know.
Yep.
That's my 2 cents.
I don't know, but then if there's something that could go wrong with that parenting style, is that like the child could like walk all over their parents and like be controlling, like if they don't get like hit once, like then they'll stop. Like that's how I was raised. Like once I like did something bad, like I once stole a chocolate bar from the store once, and my mom found out, and she got the fly swatter and hit me once. Never stole from that day forward.
Yeah, so that's about the same. Well, not the candy bar incident, but I know that. Man, what was it like the worst thing ever? No, I actually, anytime that I got in trouble with the teachers, here's what used to happen, right? It was the school would call my mom, and so my mom would like put up this like attitude where almost like oh, okay, I'll whenever we get home, oh, he's gonna, I'm gonna sit him down and we're gonna have a nice little talk. And already in the back of my mind, when it's like, oh, we're gonna talk, it's gonna involve some sort of physical hittings. And what would happen was like, we would go like leave the school or something, and my mom would not talk. She would just sit there in the car, and sometimes even without the radio on, just sit there, nice and quiet until we got back home. The moment we got back home, she would like still be quiet, and I'm kind of like, I'm like waiting for it, I'm just waiting for her to like, throw the throw the slap or throw the belt or do something, and then she'd be, Kevin, in the room, like, and that was it. Or what she would do sometimes would like every time I would get into the house, she would just like you grab me by the hair and just like pull me off to the, like, I guess like throw me like a rag doll, and she'd be like, Andale, let's go, you know. But this is a true thing. Like this was like when, what was it like? What was it like 2000s to 2010, when like this was like still acceptable, you know? Well, I wouldn't even know if it was acceptable back then, but at least it was like a way to be like, I'm going to discipline you no matter what it takes, you know? And essentially from those hittings that I used to get, I was like, I don't want to do that again. Or I would learn the lessons because my brothers would get pretty bad. They would get really bad like hittings, so they would get like the belt and they would get it worse than I did. And I was like, yeah, I don't want that to happen. So I'm never gonna do this. And I just like learned my lesson, right? And it was through my brothers because they used to be they were the troublemakers. I was like, yeah, I don't want that to happen. So I'm never gonna do this. And like, you know, that was that.
So, did you fear your parents growing up?
There were days where I literally did fear my parents.
Yep.
It was only when you did like something bad. If you were like chill and you were like in your best behaviors, like I could literally just be like, "Hey, what's up, mom?" And she'd be like, "Hey, what's going on?" You know. But if you know for a fact you're doing something wrong, like eventually they're gonna know, dude. They will know, and that's like where the fear kind of lies. So like I don't know. Let's say for example, right, you're in high school and you're starting to drink. Well, if your parents are still hitting you, you're probably gonna be like in this fear. That's why some people get really nervous to do something that's like new, because they're like, oh, I don't know how my parents are gonna react, or oh, I don't want to go, I don't want to drive with you until like the nearest McDonald's to go get food, because then my parents are gonna know, and then that's already a problem right there. That's gonna happen whenever they get home, which is why people tend to get pretty scared about those things. To where like maybe you, Matthew, are like, oh no, like it's not a problem. Like we're just gonna go to the McDonald's. Like what's the problem with that, right? I guess it just depends on the person and depends on home situation, though.
Yeah, and ultimately that is true. I think it really does depend on kind of how your parents were brought up and how they decided that they really early on wanted to kind of bring you up. Thinking about it now, a lot of maybe what I attribute to like not having punishment or not being worried about like my parents not being okay with something that I did is probably very likely due to the way that early on, like they taught me to handle like asking for permission and stuff like that. It's like, I've never I've never been afraid to ask for permission or to like do something. Like you bring up like go drinking with friends or something like that. Like for my parents are the type of people who like they'd rather have you be at home and like you have your first drink with them than like go out with friends and like do that on your own. So I think
Right.
it very depends on how they decided that they really wanted to make sure that you experience stuff and like the way you kind of learned about a lot of different things, I guess.
I guess it's just their sense of how they wanted to raise the child, right? Because
Yeah.
if they had like a bad childhood, they're probably like, I don't want to instill that on my kids, which is probably why they just don't do it in the first place. Like, which is why they're like, oh, you're gonna do this here at the house, or oh, you did something bad. Well, I'm gonna talk with you about it. Otherwise, there's gonna be some other consequences that I don't want to instill on, but you know we're having this talk now so that you don't have to, you don't ever do this again, and you will learn your lesson, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I probably, but like, yeah, I mean, that's probably why some parents are either harsh, they're nice. Which, by the way, dude, that would be really nice if what is it? If my parents just like flat out just said, "All right, we're gonna just have a talk and that's it," like every single time for any incident that I used to do.
Well, like I said, they were big on what communication meant, and so, you know, let me tell you though, those conversations were not just nice sit down conversations. Those were conversations after I would go crying to my room because either I yelled at my parents or my parents yelled at me or both, and it wouldn't be until the afternoon in which I would finally have a conversation about it with them to like kind of understand what I wanted to express and what they felt like, or what they told me that, wasn't very nice. And so it's something that like, it wasn't like a sit down and like, oh, you shouldn't have done this. It was emotional, you know. But I think you're definitely right, is that it really comes down to how you decide you're gonna like approach that sort of, when you have kids, how you approach teaching them lessons.
Right.
It was always interesting to meet other friends, with very different, with like different parents, and how
Mm-hmm.
like like how you see them being raised at sometimes. Like if you had like a sleepover and you saw how their parents were and how like they acted with the kid. It used to be very unique. I remember one day I was going to one of my friend's house, and I guess like my friend, I guess he did like something stupid. I don't remember. And I remember his dad was home, and he had this like tube, this red stick that is what he used to call it, just hanging on the door frame. And one day the dad was like, "What did you do?" I was like, "I got a call from the school. What did you do?" And like, my friend was just like, "Nothing." He's like, "You better tell me the truth." And he's like, "No." It's like, I didn't do anything." And the dad would be like in this very calm voice, "You know what that means? Go get the red stick. You know what time it is. It's time." And I'm just there like, "What?" I'm like, what's going on here?" But no, oh man, it used to be interesting to meet like the friends that kind of just had like a laid back childhood. My friends were always laid back, especially this guy I used to know. His name was Jacob. Dude, fifth grade. It's like you open Pandora's box and you finally start to explore the bad words. You finally get introduced to it because the sixth graders, that's all they say is a whole bunch of cuss words because they think it makes them sound all cool. Andrew, I think you're a testimony to that.
Mm-hmm. I can agree to that. Mm-hmm.
Matthew, I mean, you were well. How long were you homeschooled?
Kindergarten to 8th grade, and then I went into high
Oh,
school, 9th grade.
Oh, you
But
didn't even.
my introduction to bad words was not in ninth grade.
Was
I
it?
did, so I did theater a lot growing up, and I did a lot of like, not. We're not talking about like your elementary, middle school plays. We're talking like I was part of a couple of theater clubs. One of them was Theater in the Making, and it was basically a bunch of people, middle school to high school, who did theater. We did Shakespeare, we did stuff like that. And so through that group, I was able to get connections for a local community theater, like an actual stage production went on for like some odd 4 weeks called Jerusalem. Contrary to the name, the play was not something religious. It had nothing to do with Jerusalem as mentioned in the Bible. No, this play was about a old man named Byron, and he lived. It was set in, you know, England or someplace like that, and he was being evicted from his house, and he had divorced his wife, and he had a kid, and he had a bunch of friends, and all they did was sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Gosh.
And this play would be something that you wouldn't see unless, like, it would be an rated R sort of thing. But they needed like a 9-year-old, 10-year-old to play his son. And I'm there. That's the part that I'm playing, and I'm there at rehearsal. And as this 9-year-old, 10-year-old, so what? That would put me third grade, fourth grade.
Probably.
This play was about an old man who let loose his tongue and talked about drugs and cocaine and sex. And my parents are like, this is a real cool opportunity for you. We realized what the play entitles, but it was not a light play. And so through this play, I got introduced to a whole like vocabulary of words, and so that was my introduction to colorful language. But with the environment that was in, it's like they knew I was like 10. They knew I was homeschooled. They knew I wasn't exposed to that stuff. And so my parents talked to me about it. They talked to me about like, what that vocabulary is. And I'm smart enough at that point to understand what some of that stuff is like, the context in which it's being used. And later on, I learned exactly like the particulars of what those words mean. But it was, I still sometimes question why my parents let me be in that play at that age, because it's like I still have the script. I can show it to you guys at some point.
Yes, I
Maybe
would
I'll
love to
find a
see
link
it.
or something. And
They-
let me tell you, it's a funny play. It's a fantastic play, but it is an adult play. And
it was a really good
so
opportunity for you.
it got me into community theater in Albuquerque.
Well,
And I'm good friends with a lot of the actors who are, was in that play. But it was quite an adventure, to say the least.
yeah, well, hey, it was a great opportunity. That's why they were like, let's kind of we're gonna break the barriers of innocence here. Well, we'll teach him. We'll teach him the loops of what these things are, and we'll make sure that whenever he gets out of this play or whatever, this great opportunity, we'll have a friendly chat about making sure that he doesn't go around and just start using this this wide variety that he just unlocked in Pandora's box. But man, it wasn't like that, at least for me, because as soon as fifth grade rolled around, it was like everybody was starting to get introduced to bad words. And the moment you were like in sixth, seventh grade, the vocabulary was just all bad words. It's all bad words. No matter who you hung out with, no matter if it was with the nerds or if it was with the, your athletes. It was, you could just hear the bad words every single day, and even in like the classrooms too. Like they'd be like, "Hey, yo, hey, you got that? You got that fucking pencil? Yeah, can I get the fucking pencil? Oh, okay, you fucking badass, man. Oh, thank you very much. You a fucking badass, homie. Yeah, I mean, dude, it used to be like that all the time, all the time.
Mhm.
And that's when my innocence was just broken. I was just like, oh, it's so cool to say bad words, and oh yeah, like this is how it's like in the real world. Just people talk with all these bad words, and then like later on, you kind of get schooled by the seniors once you get to high school, and they're just like, what are you talking about? It's like, dude, that's not how we talk here. It's like, get out of middle school, dude. It's over. Like now you got to start understanding your words have you know, you got to start using your English, you know?
Mhm. Yep.
That was the worst. That was the worst part. Was when once you start ninth grade, dude, it's your whole life changes. Like your middle school persona is gone. It's in the trash.
Sorry, I'm looking through some of the stuff for this play, and they're saying it just as tough as I remember it. No, I know what you're saying. It is a bit of a culture shock even when everyone went to high school though, because people are just like they throw around that language. I don't really use, you know, whispers or anything like that very often. Um, but we had a few people in our class who were complete sailors. It's kind of funny sometimes.
Like Megan
Like,
Centuro.
yeah,
Reagan.
Reese was also Reese and Jackson were also quite sailors.
But at least it made sense with their like. At least they had some like common sense to use it in like the in appropriate contexts, like in the
Uh,
context that they were trying to use it. At least
no,
for me, they were. At least for me, though.
no, they basically just here. Oh, I got a picture of it. I'll show it to you guys. We won't have anyone else see this. This is a picture of the. There we go. Yeah. So no, I get what you're saying. It's. I'm glad I didn't go to Publix middle school, if I'm being honest, because that sounded like a horrible experience.
Is that you, Matthew?
That is me.
Oh
That's
my!
Colleen McClure. She was my mom, and that is Charles Fisher. He played Johnny Rooster Byron.
That's dude.
Baby turned
Wow.
out. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Let's make sure not to share this one out.
For the audio listeners, the
Yeah.
picture is a picture of Matthew. When he was like, how old were you? Like
I'm
5 years old?
10 and I think 10 or 11 in this picture.
Oh my, dude! Oh my gosh! The
Yeah.
you're just like contemplating about even being there. Your mom is just so
You
pissed.
look scared.
I remember taking this photo too. We took it. This was a play done through the Vortex Theater and our rehearsal space. It's there off of. It's by UNM in Albuquerque, and there was this one church, and we went like into the basement of the church for like one of our first things, and we did a photo shoot. And I remember we're like in this weird, dusty old church basement, and we're taking photos, and you know both of them, both Colleen and Charles, were real cool about the whole experience because they knew it was kind of my first like community theater work. I was pretty young at the time. For community theater, you don't really see people until high school get into that sort of stuff. So for me to do it at this age was really cool. But they also knew that like it's a strange experience for me to be introduced to them, and they're like throwing around this sort of language and these topics. Um,
I like the fact that in this photo there's just the dude is wearing the T-shirt and there's just the middle finger.
It's just the middle finger. Yeah.
And
It's
then
just the
there's
middle
you.
finger, and then it's just you're kind of just there, just looking like, oh, what am I supposed to do? It seems like you're in. This is the picture that this picture represents the day of your broken innocence.
Yeah. It's funny how like because of this play, I didn't become a sailor automatically. Like for anyone else, I have a feeling that would be the case.
Mm-hmm. My favorite word is fuck because it can be used as a noun, an adverb, and a verb all in one. Such a unique word.
Many other words can be used like that. Just so you know.
No, but like fuck in particular, you could like replace one word in a sentence and it still makes sense, and it's like amazing.
Give me an example.
Like for example, Jack and Jill went up the hill. Jack and Jill fucked the hill. You
At
could
this
add.
moment, I'd like to apologize for everyone who is under the age of 13 who may be listening to this podcast, even though we both know that Mr. Kevin over here doesn't quite get that sort of demographic for his videos.
The 13-year-old army is strong in this one.
Mm-hmm. I'm breaking their innocence today. Mark my words.
Dude, man, yeah, the memories of middle school is all flooding in. I I was never.
Where'd you go to middle school?
I went to Cleveland. I went to Cleveland for
I'm sorry
middle
to hear
school.
that.
I was and speaking of middle school, right, I got a story on this one. So I never did like theater or anything like that because it just had never interested me. So I took band as like an alternative to theater, and I was in band throughout like all my middle school. Well, actually, it was 4.5 years in middle school, and let me explain why it was 4 years. Okay, so here, you know how it's sixth, seventh, and eighth grade, right there. That's classified as middle school. 9th through 12th is high school.
Are you going to break
So,
this down into junior high? Yeah.
just hold on to this.
Okay.
Sixth, seventh, and eighth grade is middle school. 9th through
Mm-hmm.
12th is high school.
Yeah.
Eighth grade, okay, and I always tell this to like anybody. Like I always tell this story because it's always funny. Eighth grade, we had to do this big, giant, I guess like a year-long project where you took all of the work that you did from sixth to eighth grade, and you had to put it in this little binder, and you had to be like, oh, this is like the work I did. Here's all the good grades I got, so the report cards. Oh, and by the way, here's what I'm gonna do whenever I get older. And like it was just a way of saying like, oh, congratulations, you finally passed middle school. You're off with the big boys in high school. My mom kind of like after my project, which I actually did pretty good on this year long project, my mom says, "Oh, hey, we're moving to Utah," and I was like, okay, whatever. I'm not interested in that, but I mean, I kind of have to go with you guys because I'm obligated to because I don't know what I'm gonna do here anyways with my two brothers. Um, so I moved to Utah finally, and it was like around the time of summer. I had no friends. It was me and my parents, and that was it. Which, by the way, I got some funny stories on. Well, I guess they're not even funny stories; they're just more like depressing than anything.
Well, we'll save those stories for another day.
Here, I'll throw in one just so at least there's a
I want to hear
flow.
the rest of this Utah story.
Okay. No, check this out. So, August comes around, and this was a time where me and my mom, we had to start doing the registration process. So my dad, he was the day before we were doing that, he was showing me around like the high school, like, oh, hey, this is the high school you're going to, and I'm like, oh, that's not bad, that's pretty cool, it looks pretty big, it has its own stadium in there too, so it was pretty cool. My mom calls the high school and she's like, "Oh, hey, I'm trying to register my son so that he can go to high school." The lady was like, "Oh, yeah, so what grade is he in?" "Oh, he's a ninth grader, so he's ready to go to high school." "What was the grade again?" "Oh, he's a ninth grader. He just graduated from eighth grade." "Oh, is that the case?" "Well, unfortunately, your son has to go all the way back to the junior high school because ninth graders are classified here as seventh through ninth. So seventh through ninth is junior high.
Mm.
So my mom was like, she started like giggling a little bit, and she pulls me. She's like, "Hey, Kevin, come here." And I was like, "What?" It's like, "So you remember the project that you did, the whole rope thing, right? You're very proud of that, right?" I was like, "Yeah, I guess. I didn't want to do it, but whatever." "Great. Forget about it. Forget the pin. You're going back to middle school." And I'm just there like, "What?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" I called the school. They said ninth grade is not classified here as high school. You're not a high school student. You're going back to middle school. I was pissed. I was annoyed. I was frustrated. Oh dude, I can't tell you how bad I was. I was so upset
I'd
to
imagine
just
so.
to get told you're finally going to high school, man. Congratulations. To finally saying, "Oh, hey, yeah, forget everything that you had done because you are not going to high school. You're gonna go to you're gonna go back to middle school."
Junior high, it's called.
It was
Not middle
junior
school.
high, junior high, but I still called it middle school. I was like, "This is bullshit. This is bullshit. I'm not going back." And I even like I told my mom and my dad, I'm like, "Dude, I want to go back home. I want to go with the big boys. I deserve to be in a high school. I don't deserve to be back with a bunch of middle schoolers. Go take me back home." And well, I kind of like a few months into it, I was really liking Utah a little bit. So I kind of like opened up to like all of the friends that I have up there. And well, it turned out we went back after a I think what was it in April? I think we moved back here in April of like 2015 or 16.
So you
I
were
don't
there
even
for
remember.
what, like a year or?
Almost a year. It was almost a year. But we came back here because my mom didn't like the cold, and my parents wanted to be more closer with the family.
Hmm.
So we were in Utah for like a couple months, and then we came back here, and I finally was able to say, "Oh, I'm in high school now," for literally like April through May. It sucked, dude.
Weird.
I hated it. I hated middle school.
I hated my middle school too.
Where did you go?
I went to South Valley Prep. It was a
Ooh,
charter school in the South Valley on Gun Club. And actually, fun fact, the PE teacher is Noriega's brother-in-law, which is also my driving instructor as well.
What?
Yeah, small world we live in the South Valley. I love the South Valley.
you get to know everybody in the South Valley. I always get told of the stories in the South Valley.
Yeah, because I remember going one time driving to what's called Go Drive to get some drive time in, and it was like my coach was like, "Coach Blaya?" He's like, "Andrew?" I'm like, "Yeah, what's up?" He's like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "Nothing." And like we were just like talking and stuff, and it was like really interesting. And then like Nori told me like freshman year that Coach Blay was his brother-in-law, and I was like, "Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that." So like I knew before, so it was pretty interesting. Well, anyway, yeah. So I went to South Valley Prep, and this was a small school. So if you look it up on Google Maps, it's not there anymore. It's a daycare. They was like really small, and like I remember they were just divided into two sections: Group A and Group B. I was in Group B, which basically we'd still go through all like things. And, like we had our recess, we had like lunch still, and it was just an overall amazing experience. But I would never go back to middle school because that shit was rough. And then going to transition to high school was even rougher too, because some people that I didn't like in from middle school, came to ECA as well, and I was like iffy about it, you know.
I had a colleague of mine
Ooh, a
tell me
colleague.
that yes, one of my colleagues lived in the South Valley, and he used to tell me the time because he used to be in the gang down there,
Mm.
and I was just I was like, oh dang, that's pretty cool. He would always tell me all these like badass stories, and I always get a kick out of it because I guess the South Valley tends to have that reputation. But I remember he told me whenever like he was in high school, uh, this was when like La Cueva actually first got built. So like I guess like La Cueva was actually now officially a high school, and they were at like a football game, and there used to be this thing where people from the South Valley would throw tortillas at the white kids in La Cueva because they have like the reputation of being the rich snobby people. Right, yeah, I guess that's just the thing here in Albuquerque, right? You're in La Cueva, you're instantly classified as a rich man or a rich girl.
That's funny.
That's yeah. He used to tell me the stories, and I always got a crack out of it.
That's where I grew up.
You grew up in the South Valley,
No, I grew up like a few blocks away from La Cueva.
so you're a part of you're a part of that group.
By your definition, yes.
No, that's
If
literally
if I had gone to La Cueva, I'd be surrounded by a bunch of druggies, rich druggies.
so La Cueva High School, right? For those that don't know, here in Albuquerque, it's classified as the rich school, and any time you hear somebody say that they go to La Cueva, you can instantly guarantee they're either rich or just flat out rude, because that's literally like most of the La Cueva kids, anyways. Not to
No,
say that's all of them.
I
Some of
no,
them are really cool.
I can attest to that. Most anyone who I knew who went to La Cueva, that's what they were. You know, every town's got to have that sort of that subsection of people.
That's true. And
And why do you think I didn't go to La Cueva?
That's there you go. See, but that doesn't compare to the folks in Utah, man. Because when I lived up there, I remember we had what is it? We had some neighbors come over to our house because we finally just like unpacked our stuff and we were finally getting ourselves adjusted. So this neighbor comes over to the house and he's like, "Oh, hey, welcome to Utah, blah blah blah." And oh no, you don't. Nobody cares if you're rich or you're poor over there. It's are you Mormon? That's the first question that they'll ask you, right? Is if you're Mormon or not. And so this lady, or I think it was a guy, I don't remember, but the guy comes over to the house and he brings us these like goodies. He's like, "Oh, here you go. Like, welcome to Utah. We'll be the first ones to tell you that." Oh, I was like, I saw that you have a son here. Oh, like I'll bring my son over so at least they can at least you'll have like a friend that he can have for the time being. Oh, by the way, so are you guys Mormon? Are you guys Mormon? And my mom and dad were like, no, we're Catholics, right? We're very strong Catholics, and we will be Catholics till the day we die. Oh no, that's no worries. That's whatever. Hey, you know what? Like we appreciate you at least for telling us. We'll still bring our kid over. Blah blah blah. Yeah, they never came over. They didn't bring us any more cookies, which by the way, they were actually really good. They didn't bring any cookies. They didn't bring like the kid over so that he can say hi to me. Just because we weren't Mormon. Just because we weren't Mormon. Like I would rather have the La Cueva kids tell me that I'm poor rather than having a person that is a Mormon come up to me and say, "Oh, are you Mormon?" And if I tell them no, then they're instantly not going to talk to me anyways. I would rather have La Cueva kids tell me I'm poor than that.
I didn't know that was a thing in Utah.
That was a legitimate thing. My dad can like testify to that because I remember the neighbors were supposed to bring their kid over so that that kid can know me better, but never happened. I finally made friends after I got to like my first day of school. I literally made a couple good buddies over there, and that was just because like I literally had to wait for so long. The days felt like years, and the day that it was like the first day of junior high for me, I was so pumped. I was like, I'm finally gonna make friends, but you know, I did manage to make friends there, but it was again, it was kind of like the same thing. Are you Mormon? Are you Mormon? Are you Mormon? Oh, you're not Mormon? Oh, okay. So I mean, we'll talk later. And then if you met the people that were non-Mormons, they were always chill with you. They're like, "Oh, what's up, man? How you doing?" And there are some Mormons there that are like super duper cool. Like they won't like legitimately care if you're like Catholic or not, or like if you're a different like if you believe in the different religions. There were some that I'm still friends with up there, right? One of the guys is a Mormon, so he like he'll go to like the service and everything. But that's a good majority of the Mormons. They're like, oh, you ain't Mormon. Well, bye. Have a nice day.
So you're telling us that the Mormon stereotype is true, and then
In
some.
Utah, and then some. Yeah,
Wow.
I feel like I'll be attacked by that though, but I will I will stand to that. I don't get me wrong though. Utah's beautiful. I love Utah. That's why I went back there the last time because I really missed Utah. It's so pretty, and sometimes the people are nice up there, and some of them are not.
Hey, quick plug for everyone. If you haven't gone and checked out Mr. Kevin's video on his trip to Utah, go check that out. Video in the description below.
I don't know. Now I got to do extra work.
Hey, I'm trying to
I
plug you, man.
Hey, yeah, I appreciate the plugs. I like all kinds of plugs. I like getting a shout out. But
On
speaking
your
of,
own podcast.
I like shout outs on my own podcast. Give me a shout out on my own podcast.
Shout out to Kevin. Go give him
You
a subscribe.
didn't plug yourself. So instead of
didn't.
it being a shameless plug, we'll just
Hey guys, just subscribe to me, bro.
Yeah.
Like if you like and dislike if you dislike, dude.
You guys want to see Mr. Nurga's brother-in-law? Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
is he that guy on the
Coach Blaya. There.
What?
Yeah, it's Coach Blair's brother-in-law. So Mr. Nurga married his sister.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and this is my robotics teacher, Mr. Arrington. He's the GOAT. Love that dude. Yeah, and this one in particular, I look like a crackhead in my school photo. And it's so embarrassing.
Are you saying you
look
still
like
don't look like a crackhead?
No, this one I look like I'm like high on meth or some shit. They just told me, okay, tilt your head, tilt it just a little bit. Came out like that.
Certified meth head.
Oh, and then he wears Justice.
So how about this, right? Cause
Oh,
I guess
here's
since we're
Justice.
on the
Are we winding down, Mr. Kevin?
how about this, right? Because I guess since we're on the topic of Utah, right, and how beautiful it is, have what's like the place where you've been to where it's like super where you can classify beautiful? I guess what I'm trying to mean.
Beauty is in the eye
say,
of the beholder.
What is the best place you've been to? What's the most prettiest place you've ever been to?
Best vacation spot?
I guess in a sense.
Or just the prettiest vacation spot.
I guess just like prettiest vacation spot or something. I don't know, like a place like if you visited before. Like I don't know, Phoenix. I know that some people will go to Phoenix because it's like, oh, it's awesome down there. It looks so cool. Or they'll go to like San Diego. Oh, it's so green. It's so pretty. I don't know, something like that. Where have you been? Where you're
first?
Like, yes. Honestly, I've been to Colorado, and that place is beautiful. Like that place, was so cold compared to Mexico. Because if you guys know me, like I sweat my balls off, even to like the slightest temperature change. But like Colorado was just like so cold, and I love the weather there, and I love the atmosphere. I loved IKEA. IKEA was amazing. Their Swedish
Oh no.
meatballs are to die for. I love their
Mhm.
Swedish meatballs. Those things are so good. Yeah, I'd
No,
recommend Colorado.
I don't recommend IKEA. I recommend Colorado, but not IKEA.
Hey, you don't recommend IKEA?
I don't recommend IKEA. I hate IKEA.
Don't talk to me.
You like IKEA?
Don't talk to me in my
Yes, I love
Swedish
IKEA.
meatballs
Why
ever
do you guys
again.
like IKEA,
My
dude?
Swedish
The
meatballs.
first time I got introduced to IKEA, right? My parents, again, another Utah story. Here we go again. They have an IKEA up there, and actually, by the way, I did go to an IKEA, but the line was too long, so I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna go back into this IKEA. But I went out, like I went outside the building just to like see, the nostalgia. But no, the first time I went, it's a maze. Once you go into an IKEA, there's no coming back.
I
I
love
don't know
IKEA, dude.
I don't know how you like IKEA, dude.
I loved IKEA.
So what was your final answer there, Andrew? Favorite vacation or most beautiful vacation spot?
Denver, Colorado. Best
Denver,
vacation
Colorado.
spot.
Denver is quite pretty.
Mm-hmm.
I've only been to Colorado. Actually, you know what? I look, Colorado is pretty, yes, but I've only been to Colorado not for as a vacation spot, more or less for retreats. But I will say yes, Colorado is beautiful. The drive is beautiful too. Like if you've ever taken the drive to Colorado, I feel like depending on where you are, but from Albuquerque to Denver is pretty. I like the drive.
It is. Okay, I'll go. My favorite vacation, or the most beautiful vacation I've ever gone to, is New York City. It's not your typical like beautiful landscape. It's the environment there. It's such like a cool environment to be in. It's not the kind of same vein as Denver or Utah. Because I have been to Denver and my dad's been to Utah and he showed me pictures and it is very beautiful up there. But like New York's got this sort of raw like immensity and like crowdedness to it. It's got a very industrial feel. That's something I do very appreciate is a sort of industrial feel to like any sort of urban area. And so I don't know, man. When I went to New York a few summers ago, there's just something about that city that's like I'd love to live there for a couple months. Maybe a year or so.
Dude, don't even mention New York City.
Why?
Dude, New York City, dude. My brothers went to New York City.
Yeah.
And I was supposed to go, and I didn't get to because what is it? There was like an American history elective that we were or that was available at the middle school, right? I went to Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, I didn't get to go just because my mom was like, "Nah, you ain't going for no reason." And yeah, but
What?
based on the pictures that I've seen, I can only see with my own eyes the pictures of New York City. Looks pretty cool. But there is a fun fact about New York City though, is like I don't know if it's true or not, but the streets have to be clean. So like owning a car is practically useless because
Yeah.
what happens is, whenever the city has to do their, cleaning of the roads or whatever, the people that have their cars parked on the side of the road have to put it in a garage, you know. And then if they put it in a garage for a certain time, right, that's not like free parking, it. But other than that, it's like everything is so close, or it's you have to just walk. There's the subways and everything, so I mean, it's practically useless.
No, but here's the thing. You say you have to walk, but honestly, that's the only way, like, even whenever we were there, we took a car from the airport to our hotel. But that was the only time we ever hopped in a car. We didn't even get in a taxi. Let me tell you, public transportation in New York is so streamlined. We took subway a couple times, and then we also just walked, even to Central Park. And we were kind of far away, but like, you kind of just get used to that sort of thing. Like, you kind of, if you live there, you kind of expect that sort of thing. It's very
You gotta
different
be
to a place considered like either Utah or you look at like LA, anywhere here more on the west side of the country, and it's much more spread out. And you need like a good solid method of transportation that's not your feet.
You have to be a big fan of walking though, in order for you to like really enjoy New York City. If you don't like walking, well, you know,
I'd agree with
that,
that.
that sucks. I'm not a fan of walking, but I do not mind walking like a couple distances, a couple miles, right if I have to. But yeah, I feel like you have to be you have to really love to walk. Otherwise, I feel like New York City is going to be hell. Otherwise, well, you get to take public transportation, but that requires walking, depending on
Wow.
how far the stations are.
I I don't mind the walking, especially on vacation or something like that. I really don't mind it at all. It comes down personal preference, especially for vacation and stuff like that. Like for you guys, do you guys enjoy like a very planned out vacation, or would you rather be able to like just go to a city and then do whatever you want?
The option two. I don't even
Option
plan
two.
that. I don't even plan out my vacations. Like for example, when I went to like Las Cruces, right? I didn't have any plans that day. I was kind of like, I'll just see how the day goes. And the
Uh,
same with Seattle.
that's a little bit different. For you, you're just going as one person. Like for me, I go with my family, and so like it's not to say that we plan out every single part. I think it's kind of boring if you do, but like you gotta have a general idea of what you're gonna do.
That was our family plans too. Like when we used to take like family vacations, right? Me and my family. My dad would always be the organizer, the planner, the finance, the accountant, the everything, the driver. Dude, he had everything planned out. Like he had times for the things he wanted to do, like 10 a.m. eat breakfast, 11:15 drive, 1:30 museum. Everything was planned out. But we never had like time to, like kind of go off track because we were trying to meet the deadline and metrics, right, for that certain day we had planned for that vacation. But now that I've been going out on my own, it's kind of like I'll just see how the day goes, and well, who knows? I might just go all the way up to the borders of Canada, but for all I know, just I guess it depends.
Yeah, it depends on what sort of vacation you're planning, I guess.
Mhm.
What was your favorite
Like,
vacation though?
hmm?
What was your favorite? Was New York City the like your ultimate
Yes,
favorite S tier vacation?
yes. A lot of our family vacations have revolved around like either like we've gone to Disney, we've gone to Universal Studios, and so a lot of them revolved around that. We've gone to Seattle a couple times. We've gone to LA just to see the city, but like New York, out of all the places I've gone, that's just like to go on vacation, not really for any specific like attraction. New York's been my favorite. Um, San Antonio, Texas was also a close second.
That's
San
an A
Antonio's real
tier.
pretty. Hmm?
That's an A tier on your list. Not compared to New York, but close.
No, I'd say yeah. I would say that it is close to an A tier. I guess if you want a tier list.
Let's do our tier list. Here, I'll here for me though. I think probably there's two S tier vacations that I've been to. Easily the first one, Seattle. Seattle's like absolutely S tier. It's so pretty over there.
You know, I'll be honest. Whenever I watched your video, whenever it came out, you kind of were like dogging on like half of this stuff.
A
Like,
good,
this isn't open. This isn't really open. I'm like, yeah, you went during a pandemic.
yeah. I mean, even with the pandemic, it was still pretty. It was pretty open for like the most part. It was.
Uh,
It was.
yes and no. Even watching your video, because I've been there a couple of times, there's a few things that you missed, and you also missed the vibe of the city. Because, yeah, there were places open, but like the amount of people you saw compared to like the amount of people when it's fully open, that's a whole different experience.
Oh yeah. No, I. Well, I'm the type of person that tends to. I mean, in a sense, even during the pandemic, it was still beautiful to see like a lot of things. But
Hmm.
no, my cousin was telling me, he was like, "Oh, when the Seattle is like fully open, right? You kind of get a mix of everything. So there's like music festivals, art festivals, and there's just a lot of events that happens that like I come to every time, and we like there's I have a blast, and there's just a lot of cool people you meet. But for me though, I'm kind of like the introvert, so I like to keep things to myself and just do things on my own, which is why I went to Seattle in the pandemic, because it was cool. I liked it. It
Yeah.
was on my own, but it was, most of the places were still open though. But easily S tier, Seattle. I definitely would go back. I would go back to Seattle again. That is an S tier.
That's your first S tier. You said you had another one?
I did San Diego.
San Diego. Never
San
been to San
Diego.
Diego.
San Diego's beautiful. It is beautiful. My dad didn't like it. That's an F tier for him, because he was telling me how much it compared to Albuquerque. It was like Albuquerque, but more more depressing. I guess that's the way he put it, because uh, I guess in a sense it's like Albuquerque, but if there were more, mm, what is it? I guess if there were like more people and more popular, I guess, attractions that like we don't have.
Sure.
But I mean, I liked it. It was cool. The the food there, god awful. That was the only thing I didn't like about San Diego, because what is it? The food there was terrible, and we went to a couple of Mexican restaurants, and we're pretty accustomed to the food that we like. So when we went over to San Diego, and they were like, "Oh, you get real authentic Mexican food here," I just didn't like it. I was like, something's off.
Hot take, real quick. Mexican food is vastly different from New Mexican food.
Oh no, no, I every day I eat Mexican food.
Mexican food.
Not New Mexican, not New Mexican.
Okay.
There's no such thing as New Mexican cuisines in in San Diego. It's Mexican food, because right, it borders up with Tijuana. With Tijuana. But something was off, and my mom didn't like it. My dad didn't like it. I didn't like it. So we kind of just stuck with In-N-Out Burger. And that was it. But I give it an S, because actually it was really beautiful to see like the beaches, and to go on a cruise ship as well. And I got to see my auntie there. But that's an S tier.
Here.
That's
You
an
heard it
S
here
tier.
first, folks.
That's my S tier.
Hmm.
Which, speaking of S tiers, Andrew,
Yo,
what's your S tier? Give me your vacation spots. What's the S tier? Your list.
Okay, so which I don't like to travel a lot, so the only places I've ever been to was Colorado with my family, Disneyland on eighth
Colorado's
grade
dope.
field trip, and then
Disneyland's dope.
when I was very young, we went to Mexico, and that's about it. Those are the only three spots I'd have to rank. But I really did like Colorado. Like I would consider move to Colorado because a couple of my friends, shout out to Eli and Noah and maybe other Andrew, but like they want to move to Colorado and open their own mechanic shop there. And like the scenery of Colorado is just beautiful. And I like Kevin said, like this drive to there Colorado is amazing. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, Colorado's dope too.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, my brother might be moving to Colorado soon.
Yeah, but Colorado S tier. I think B tier was Disneyland because like it wasn't on eighth grade field trip, so it wasn't like that much exciting. I remember like going and seeing the Star Wars stuff, and it was just absolutely amazing. And like hanging out with like my homies and eating Dole Whips. Have you guys ever had a Dole Whip?
Ooh,
Ooh, I would sell
ooh.
my soul to eat one of those again. Oh my gosh.
The
Whew.
whip is where it at, man.
Yeah, Dole Whip. Mm. And like the rides were fun in Disneyland too. Like I had so much good memories, which, yeah, I really do like that. And in Mexico, I think since I was very young, I don't remember it that much, but like I remember there's like seeing pictures of it and like younger me, and it looked like I really did enjoy it. Like I remember we got a hotel right next to the beach, and which it was just absolutely like breathtaking. Like the pictures, I just look at back and now, and it's like wow. Like I wish I could experience that. Like when I was older and had like a sense of where I was at. So that's like the bottom.
Very
Dope.
nice. Very nice. Well, if because you haven't been to many places anyways, just besides the ones you mentioned, right? If some if some person just came up to you, be like, "Yo, you can go anywhere you want. Here's all this cash. You can go anywhere. Where would you go?"
You already know where. I'm going to Miami, Florida, baby.
Oh, oh,
No, no,
oh, you go to Miami. Oh, you go to Miami.
no,
Yes, I would go
You
to
go.
Miami, Florida. Like the beach there
no.
is just
Well,
beautiful.
Don't. No, we know why you want to go. You gotta
We all
stop simping over her.
Yes, I am a proud Santana. Shout out to Rachel Santana on TikTok, also known as XOXO Santana on Instagram.
You,
And
you really,
what?
you really didn't have to plug her, dude.
Oh, I have to.
Oh, let's get her to listen to the podcast.
Yes, I'll
Actually,
mention
and
her.
because Andrew, he's like, "Yo, you should totally get Rachel on the podcast." So I'm like, "Listen, if I ever get like, popular somehow, which I guarantee you that's not gonna happen, right? I mean, we'll see, but there's just I don't think there's no way that I could ever get Rachel to come on this podcast, dude. But who knows? Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
this could be a failed attempt, but
Mhm.
who knows, dude? And
Yeah, I would love to
that's
go
the
to
beauty of
Miami.
YouTube.
Mhm. But Miami, Florida, I would love to go to and travel. Like it looks like a very beautiful city from what I've seen from what Rachel posts on her Instagram and Snapchat and
Yeah,
TikTok.
No.
is
Yeah, I've
very
been to Orlando. Orlando's nice.
Mm-hmm.
But if I wasn't there to go visit some random chick that I'm stalking on the internet.
I don't prefer the term of stalking. I prefer the term simping.
You realize those are the exact same things.
just be
Mm-hmm.
careful. You'll meet the Florida man.
No,
Oh,
Florida man, Florida boy.
yeah, Florida man and Florida boy.
You'll meet the Florida man somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Florida has this really bad reputation of just a bunch of weirdness.
True though. Florida is the Australia of the world.
Are you challenging me, bro?
You'll have
There
a
was a
Shaggy use 8% of his power.
there was
Only
a story of like
8%?
some. See, there was a story of this Chinese man who cut his finger off because he got bit by a snake, and he went to the doctors because he's like, hey, I chopped my finger off because this snake bit me, and I didn't want to get poisoned. And the doctors were like, there was really no need for you to like chop your finger off. Like you would have been fine if you just came to the ER. Like we could have just put a band-aid or something. You would have been fine. And then just at the very bottom, there's just a meme where it's like Florida man, and it's like, are you challenging me? I have to. Yeah, that was a. I was like, wow, like this man really just cut his own finger because he thought he got bit by a poisonous snake. But you know, you never know because I just look at all snakes as poisonous, even the rattlesnakes, even the corn snake.
You could just stay away from the snakes.
Or not, because my brother has a snake.
Yeah, well, that's like the snake that you buy.
That's poisonous. I don't even want to touch it.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about that one.
Yeah,
I don't like snakes.
me neither.
I think snakes are dope. Herbie, shout out to Herbie.
Oh,
Snakes are
Curry was
disgusting.
the goat.
Yeah, they're disgusting.
Herbie basically made all freshman year. That should be the school's mascot. Herbie was the, for everyone wondering, Herbie was the class pet snake in freshman biology.
A corn snake, to be exact.
Best snake there is.
Mm-hmm.
Until the freshman just decided to let the snake go, and it was starving for like 2 weeks.
I don't think it was starving for 2 weeks. There's so many bugs and whatnot in that school that I'm sure it was just fine in Bartlett's room.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it
No,
was found.
Walker told me. He said when he found his snake, it literally looked like it was on the verge of it was on the verge of dying.
No,
Because
I
that
believe
snake did
that.
not eat. That was just how. Well, at least that's how Mr. Walker put it.
How come he didn't eat any of the cockroaches that were in the hallway? I mean, there's always cockroaches everywhere in the hallway.
That's like in every school though. There's always some sort of like bug or cockroach. You can always find some in the boys' locker room.
Mm-hmm.
If
Yeah.
and the sad part is at least for us, because we went to a charter school, there was like no such things as the locker rooms. Just the locker rooms were just the bathrooms. Like we didn't even have a formal locker room
For ECA?
for ECA.
Yeah.
It was like, here's the bathroom.
But it
What's your
also means
locker?
we didn't have to shower.
But do people really shower in the boys' bathrooms though?
Yeah, but you're forced to. Technically.
No,
Ah, yeah.
no, you don't.
Yeah.
Where do you see? What do you mean? What do you mean that's you have to? I've never seen a dude where like, all right, hey boys, I'm gonna hop in the shower real quick. I
Shower
Nah,
with the
for
boys.
both my parents is that whenever they did PE that they had to shower after PE. That was a requirement.
I don't know what to say, because at my junior high, there was no requirement for us to even like just step foot
Yeah.
in the showers. We're like, here's your locker, get changed. When we're done, go get changed. Here's a towel, wipe off the sweat, and have a good day. We had showers, nobody used them.
Interesting.
I've never, even when I was at Del Norte, I never heard a dude be like, "Hey boys, we forgot to shower. We need to go shower real quick."
I'm not saying it was we forgot to shower. It's just what they had to do. I'm just telling you what I've heard. I could be completely wrong.
You are wrong because you were homeschooled.
Yeah.
You know what? Screw you.
You were homeschooled. Dude. You could literally just go up during a math session and just go take a shower. Oh wait, hold on, mom. I'm sorry. I just did PE with my dad. I gotta go take a shower first.
Are you really that thick that that's how you think it went?
Yeah.
You're dead wrong.
It just
You are
stuff like
dead wrong.
I was never homeschooled, so I can't say.
Yeah, I was never
You just
homeschooled either.
tried to.
I really did. I'm just playing though. But anyways, though, it's already 10 o'clock.
It is.
Which by the way, dude, this was really long. I don't even know how long it was. I think it easily at 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
How long was it, 2 hours?
I think we were maybe like an hour and a half.
Has it been an hour and a half?
I think so.
I could see that being an hour and a half.
I don't even know if it's been an hour and a half. Dude, time has gone by so fast. This whole like pandemic, it's unbelievable.
Yep.
Oh, for sure. For sure, dude.
Yes, it's been a ride. But besides the time when things started to shut down, though, that seemed like an eternity just for anything to be opened up. Those were the boring days. When did they enforce the whole like I guess closure of the state? What was that, like last month, or I guess like March of last year?
Yeah.
It was March 13th.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
That was Friday.
I remember. Now I
Right.
remember. It's coming to me. Coming to me.
Indeed.
All the memories.
Mm-hmm. Where's the first place are you guys gonna go to after this pandemic is all over? Like when you could go freely wherever you want, you could go eat inside freely without a mask. Where's the first place you guys are gonna go?
I can tell you where I'll go. I want to
Really?
go with my family to a little restaurant called Tomato Cafe.
Ooh, that's good.
No. No. No.
What?
Absolutely not.
You don't like Tomato Cafe?
I don't like Tomato Cafe. I don't. Out of all the places.
Yeah.
Out of all the places.
Yes.
Tomato Cafe.
Yeah.
A salad bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. I like that place too.
Thank you, Andrew.
What is wrong with you guys?
Is that coming from the person who doesn't like IKEA?
That's true.
What is wrong with you guys? You wow. You know where I'm gonna go? Whenever this whole thing opens up, whenever everything is open, you know what? You know the place
Target?
that I'm gonna go?
And pick up a girl's
No.
number?
No, actually.
He's been doing that
I'm gonna
during the
go-
pandemic anyway.
I'm gonna go to the Vernon's Speakeasy and buy myself a $80 steak without a mask and sit down. Well done. I am gonna go enjoy myself at the Vernon Speakeasy.
That sounds lame.
That doesn't sound lame. That's like a celebration right there. Everybody's all vaccinated. We all can go out. And I'm gonna have myself a little party at the Vernon Speakeasy. A really fancy steakhouse.
Mm-hmm. That place is good.
It's really good.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a good place. It's almost as it compares it to Ruth's Steakhouse.
Yeah, Roots is kind of overrated. I don't like it.
My brother went, and
Mm.
dude, like I think for two $60 steaks, I think what is it? His bill came out to like 200 some dollars. Yeah, because he went out on a date. And the sucky part is that he didn't. Well, I guess he was trying to hold up to the gentleman's honor. You never split the bill. Gentlemen always pay the bill on the dates.
Oh heck
And he
no!
paid.
If
He
I'm gonna go
paid.
on a date, if I'm gonna go on a date with someone, I'm not gonna take them to some fancy restaurant. we're gonna like go to like Sonic or something like that.
That's a date right there.
No, you
Well,
know,
I mean,
you know why? Because if they only want to go to the highest end place, I don't want that.
she take my money when I'm in need.
I say Applebee's. Like, you got the 2 for $20 like bundle. That's golden.
Ooh.
You get dessert, you get 2 entrees, and appetizer for $20. Like, you can't beat that.
The wings are good over there. I like Applebee's wings.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you know
dude.
what? Okay, since we have been like talking for an hour and a half, that's where we should start. Let's start off next time. Ideal first date ideas.
Okay.
Ideal first date ideas?
Yeah. Don't worry, Kevin. I'm not putting too much stuff on your plate. I know you don't want a bulletin list. I'm
Dude,
just giving you one talking point to start off with.
do you want me to talk about ideal like dating, like date locations? An ideal date?
Yeah.
How a first date should
Not
be like?
not right now. You have too much experience going out to get a girl's number from Dutch Bros or whatever it's called.
Target as well.
And Target.
You know what?
Oh.
I've tried to been.
I'm telling you though. Start on that next time.
All right.
Just one talking point. That's all I'm giving you. I'm not trying to put you out to a whole agenda.
Yeah, I can go a whole list of
I know you can.
ideal first dates. I'm like the person that plans for the wedding.
Okay, that's a little
The planner.
weird, but
I like planning too. Planning is fun.
Dude. If you plan, well, it depends on how you plan your stuff. Like, what do you plan for? Just like how your day goes and what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
Does the day consist of well, I don't know. What do you even do, Andrew, on your free times now? Besides like school, I don't. What is it? I feel like you kind of just like lay back and chill.
Yeah, I kind of lay back, chill, scroll through social media, study, look into like nursing things, and like look at nursing memes. And yeah, that's what I do on my free time. Matthew, what do you do on your free time since tech is kind of boring and so is Socorro? There's nothing to do.
Meanwhile, back in tech, while all of the homies are all chilling in a hot tub.
Oh yeah, all the homies are chilling in a hot tub.
All the
All
homies in
right.
the hot tub coding with their alcoholic beverages.
You're gonna make fun of me for it then. I'm done.
I'm sorry, Matthew.
You better be.
Oh, he's getting a little feisty now.
Dude, he's gonna bust out the belt.
Yeah,
Oh my
bust
goodness.
out the belt. You
He's
know
gonna
what's about
bust
to
out the
happen?
chanclas.
Yep, I'm gonna get the red tube. You know what that means?
Oh, dude, not the red stick, dude. Oh no, not the red stick. Oh man, but yeah, as far as red sticks are concerned, we gotta we're gonna see if we could try to get another guest on here. Who knows,
Are we guests on your podcast? Is that what we are?
dude?
Technically, Andrew's a regular,
Yeah, it's
Well,
my second appearance.
and you've only had
this
2
is-
podcasts.
This is it is his second appearance.
He's about as
do-
much of a guest as you are.
What if I'm really like the host?
Andrew be the host. Andrew's the host, dude.
Yeah.
I just work here, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I just work here. well, I don't know. We'll see who else comes on the cast on the Just Smile podcast. It's always
Yeah.
fun. It's always a fun time here.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I haven't.
Is that your sign off?
No, it's about to be my sign off.
I mean, you said the name of the podcast. I was like, are you gonna sign off with that one? Because that's kind of lame, if I'm being honest.
Dude, you know what's it's like hearing the title of the movie in the movie.
Or the title of the song in the song.
Oh gosh, midway in the movie, we're frozen. You said the title, huh? That's how it
You
feels
gotta
like.
you gotta figure out your sign off, dude.
I do. And you know what? I need to figure out who the co-hosts are gonna be. I need to figure out who the co-hosts are. Who knows, guys? Who are the co-hosts of this
All three
show?
of us.
Hey Andrew, did he just like disregard us as not being co-hosts?
Yeah, first he was calling us co-host, and then he called us a guest while
Yes,
we're
I
waiting.
know.
Which one is
Just
it?
disrespect. It's disrespect. That's what it is.
Here I am disrespecting my peers.
Oh, please.
You're gonna
Stop DMing me.
you're gonna get fired, homie. Or I'll give you the title of paid intern, but you're not gonna be paid. You're just getting the title.
All right, cool. Can I be called
You
Monica
guys-
Lewinsky?
But no, well this was a fun podcast. Who knows
It's a
who's gonna
long
be
one.
on here? Yeah, it definitely is a long one. Who knows who knows what's gonna happen on episode 2 of the, well, technically it's episode 3, but it's kind of considered 2.
Since Kevin doesn't know how to run his YouTube, let me ask everyone, put suggestions for how you want the Kevin to run his own podcast next time in the comments below. Or don't. Nobody really reads those sort of things anyways. Do you want it to be longer? Do you want it to be shorter? Do you want Kevin to have bullet points? Should me and Andrew just take over the podcast?
Dude,
I don't know.
Should I just step down as a CEO of Just Smile? I mean, who the hell knows? We'll see. But anyways, guys, it was an honor having you guys here on the podcast.
I
Thank
would
you very
love to
much,
come back
Kevin.
for a third time. This is fun.
Who knows? We'll see what happens. This
All right.
podcast is a mystery. It's like it's like the mystery box in Call of Duty Zombies. You just never know what you're gonna get in the box. But
But you'll get just smiles.
you will always get smiles on this podcast. So who knows what's gonna happen? But no, guys, it was an honor, and I'm looking forward for episode 2, and that's it. We're done. You're officially done.